Okay, so this is my Stars on Mars episode 4 review, and most of this episode was them just goofing off and showing how close they've all become. Even though there are cliques, it seems like, everyone gets along with everybody. Except, as Lance pointed out, Ariel doesn't like him, which we never find out why. I mean, I have a good inkling why, but we'll get to that. So, their first goofing off was Rhonda decided she's going to teach Portia how to wrestle. And for those of you who actually thought WWE was real, yeah, Rhonda just told you that it's not, that everything is choreographed. I mean, the actual moves are real. It's not like this is just some computer generation or whatever, but it's choreographed. And when bad things happen, it's because something went wrong, not because it was supposed to. So anyway, so they're doing that and everybody's having a good time until Ariel finds a cockroach. I think it was Ariel who first saw the cockroach, and nobody wanted to touch the damn cockroach, which can't say I blame them. The only way I would touch it is with my shoe. So, understandable. And Lance picks it up. Now, I wouldn't say he didn't get close to Ariel, but it's not like he was pushing it in her face or anything. But Ariel was freaking out. And she's like, I will kick you in the balls if you bring that closer. And Lance is very amused by this. Now, let me explain why I think Lance is amused by this. Because he at most might have one, and that's because when he was Ariel's age, he was diagnosed with advanced testicular cancer. So I'm pretty sure he had to have surgery. I mean, Scott Hamilton was also diagnosed around the same time, so I might be confusing which one of them had to have surgery, but I'm pretty sure Lance did as well. So at most he has one. So I'm going to say that that's why he was amused, not because of the size difference, that there's no way Ariel could get her foot that high up. I think it's because of the little fact of, not having balls. Maybe one? Anyway. So, now Ariel is upset with Lance for what he did. I'm sorry, did you tell him the way you talked to the girls about your phobia? Because I can understand if something is remotely close and you're scared of it, it's going to seem a lot closer to you than it really is. I get that. But how the hell is Lance supposed to know this if you don't tell him? I mean, instead of threatening him, why not just say, I have a phobia of cockroaches? Even if you don't tell him, explain to him where this phobia comes about. That should be enough. Now, he does needle her, like sitting too close, and so he obviously does needle her, but I wonder how much of it stems from Ariel feeling embarrassed that she mistook Lance for Neil Armstrong, and it just spiraled from there. That she decided because she got embarrassed, it wasn't really her fault that she got embarrassed. It's somehow Lance's fault. And so her dislike of Lance just steamrolled from there. Now, I could be completely off base, but we really haven't seen anything. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it seems like he needles her, and that's obnoxious. I have a brother, I get that. But to dislike someone for it, I guess it depends on how much they're needling you. And I'm pretty sure Lance is needling her because of that mistake. So yeah, I think that this stemmed from a misunderstanding, and both of them are reacting badly to it. So then we have some more goofing off with they got another dog. And this time they named the dog Eartha because that's the closest planet to Mars. Which it was kind of amusing when Portia asked, "What's the closest planet to Mars?" Earth. I'm sorry, what were you expecting? There is a reason why Mars is being considered as a settlement planet, and it has nothing to do with the atmosphere. It is strictly because of distance. The moon and then Mars. That's just the way it is. So anyway, so then they decide to play with the dogs. And everyone is getting it looks like everyone gets a chance to control Eartha. And so they're having fun with the dogs until now we saw earlier before I think it was Marcia, before Marcia came in to the hab, we saw her meeting something. I didn't know if it was supposed to be a giant insect or what it was supposed to be, but it's just a drone. So, by the way, I'm totally loving Tinashe. I'm really loving her a lot. But, so it turns out that there is an alien there's an alien contamination in the hab. So they have to use the blue light to find the contamination, and they find it in the kitchen. And there is a fungus. So, Shatner comes on the comms and tells them in his Bill Shatner style that they have to find and destroy the mother fungus. So they make two teams. And oh, I almost forgot to mention, the base commander, turns out it's going to be Rhonda. Adam decides that his only hope for staying or something is to nominate Rhonda. Because I guess he even says it later that hopefully because it was his idea that he won't go home. I see Adam's self-esteem has not improved any. He had weight issues when he was competing. So yeah. Anyway, and by weight issues, I mean he thought he needed to lose weight when he didn't. Eating disorders is just so much fun. But anyway. So so then it comes time. Rhonda has to pick a mission specialist. And she decides to go with Ariel because she feels like she doesn't know what she's doing. This is how Ariel makes it to the end, isn't it? So, so Ariel is again the only one who's safe. So they have 30 minutes of oxygen, and they have to go in their rovers and hunt down the fungus. So we have two teams. Lance and Marchand are going to be dealing with the flamethrowers, and everyone else has flashlights. Well, two of them have flashlights. I don't know what Tinashe's job was before she grabbed the flashlights. But Adam was having all sorts of issues because he couldn't see. Obviously, someone did not eat enough carrots growing up. So he can't see for shit. Tom is, and he even mentioned it earlier on that he spaces out and goes back to whatever problems he has to deal with, and it was mentioned later on that that's what he was doing. He was just not paying attention to what he was supposed to be doing. He was off somewhere else. So yeah, that's probably why he ended up going, because at this point you cannot make mistakes. So Adam's in some serious danger, but he did show himself to be useful. So Tom is scraggling behind with the flashlight because, well, he isn't paying much of attention. Adam is scraggling because he can't see for shit. Tinashe is like, guys, how can we, use the flashlights to go forward if the flashlights are back there? So she grabs the flashlights and she takes initiative. The other group is handling things much better. Portia is having a much easier time with seeing. And actually, now that I think about it, I don't know. I might have heard somewhere that women tend to see better in the dark than men. Maybe I'm totally making that up. I do not know. But so everyone's looking for the mother fungus. And at some point, Tinashe's group ends up at a dead end. So Rhonda's trying to tell them, what to do. And they're like, but we did that and we ran into a dead end. It's like, this is a maze. What makes you think there's only one right turn? But okay. So Lance's team Marshawn's team gets there first. And so Marshawn is super excited to use the flamethrower. And he seemed so much happier now. When he and Lance went out and Marshawn was using the drone, because he's used the drone before, they seem to have said they obviously get along. They want to go the distance together. And I had said previously that I thought that Richard pushed Marshawn into doing this, and that's why he wasn't at all happy. But I wonder if it's because not necessarily that it was Marshawn's idea and he saw that Richard wasn't feeling it, but simply just that he saw that Richard wasn't enjoying himself, and that was making him upset. That was making him sad, because obviously you want to do something fun with your friend. You don't want them to, have a miserable time. So they're obviously getting along. And so Marshawn is having fun with the flamethrower. Lance is having fun with the flamethrower. They kill the fungus, and now it's about getting back to the hab. Well, getting back to the Rovers, which has oxygen for them before their oxygen gets depleted. And Lance, Natasha is all sorts of in trouble. Lance, Natasha, and Adam are the first three to make it. But that's only because Lance and Adam were basically carrying Natasha. Lance was helping her on one side, and then Adam caught up and helped on the other, and Natasha's like, I guess that's all I needed for this trip is to have world-class athletes on both sides of me. And I honestly thought I realized that they're already carrying 60 pounds themselves, but I was waiting for them because she's so tiny, and it just blows my mind because she's 4'11 and I'm still shorter than that. So if you think you're tiny, guess again. I don't know if Ariel was thrilled to meet someone shorter than her or not, because when I started college, there I did have a dorm mate that was absolutely thrilled that there was somebody shorter than her, and she's 5'2", so. But anyway, so they're helping Natasha back to the Hab. So they get back. Now this didn't surprise me at all that Lance and Adam had no problem doing that because Lance is a long distance cyclist. He still does cycling, long distance cycling, even though he hasn't competed in since probably before Ariel was born, maybe. So yeah. So I that didn't surprise me. Natasha also didn't surprise me at all because she kept going on about how she's not athletic and how she's only 4'11". I'm like, so you're 4'11". 4'11" people can be badasses. But anyway. So then it's just a matter of waiting for Tinashe, Portia, Marshawn, and Tom. Now, Portia had already said last week that she's losing her damn mind. She's having issues getting there because when she was first told she has to run to the rover, she's like, why not bring the rover closer to us? You do realize you drove there, right? I'm not sure what you think, what valet you think exists on Mars, but Portia. But anyway, so Portia's having issues. Tinashe is starting to have issues because I mean it is running a long distance. Marshawn doesn't look happy. Tom doesn't look happy. Now the only person of that group that I thought was going to do well is Marshawn. I mean, he's a running back and he left the NFL in 2019. So, and you can see that he still works out, that this isn't like he let himself go or whatever. So I was very disappointed. Maybe Marshawn was doing what Tom said he was doing, which was wait, he didn't want to leave the others behind, which is noble, but why let everybody die? I do not see how that is helpful. I mean, if you can help them run faster like what Lance and Adam were doing for Natasha, then yeah, but it didn't seem like he was doing that. So, but yeah, Marshawn is the one that surprised me the most. So, like I said, unless he was doing what Tom was doing, which is not outrunning everybody else, this surprised me. So they with a second to spare, they're able to attach their oxygen, and they were able to come back. And of course, Lance made the joke that Marshawn hasn't had to run like that for 37 years. Spoiler, he's 37 now. So this is just more of them being silly. And Marshawn even went after him, saying how, maybe catch your breath before before talking shit. Now, he said that, but Lance didn't sound like he was out of breath. Lance seemed fine. But, and earlier we saw more of their friendship where Marshawn comes in while Lance is talking with his 13-year-old son, which now we've seen Rhonda talking to her husband because obviously baby can't talk to baby. Well, you can, but baby won't talk back. Um, and now we see Lance talking with his kid. Excuse, why couldn't Richard do that? Did he not have a device with him to do that? Did he not think to bring one? Or was he told not to and the others did anyway? I still don't understand why this was an issue. But anyway. So, Marshawn swore. Lance chastised him for it, because he's 13. I'm sorry, Lance. I realize that you are probably already long distance cycling and probably didn't have a lot of experience with being around other kids. But on what planet do teenagers not swear? Marchand even brought that up, that he's probably heard worse, which, yeah. So I realize Lance is probably at that stage where he hasn't, accepted that his kid is becoming less and less of a kid, but okay. So, yeah, they have a great friendship. I really, really hope that things, improve with him and Ariel. I don't know about after the fact if they smoothed things over. I hope they did because, this is just silly. So it's time to give out patches and to say who's mission critical. Now, before this mission, Shatner mentioned that mentioned that there's going to be a double elimination because people are eating too much. So, obviously they're just making shit up. I mean, they have mentioned that there isn't a lot of food, but I was under the impression that they were planting food. So, how long does it take for the plants to grow? I mean, it's only been a couple of days, but I don't know. They were planting actual spuds, so I don't know. But anyway, so they're overeating. So 2 people have to go. So it's a double elimination. So they leave Portia for being the last person to be saved, which freaks out Portia. It's like, well, I mean, because Portia did what she was supposed to do. Her job was to flash the flashlight, and make sure everybody gets to where they're supposed to go. She was doing her job just fine. So I was surprised, but somebody had to be the last one to be called. So it's between Adam, Tom, and Natasha. And Natasha gets on her knees and pleads to let her go home. That she's called her Uber, that she's so done. She's so ready. And so, I can't remember, I think it was Adam who questioned, letting her go. And it's like, well, she wants to. You can't make her stay just because you like her energy and all that. If she doesn't want to stay, she doesn't want to stay. She did at the end say she changed her mind. But oh well, too bad. So Tom was the other one who was sent home because, like Lance said, he was, instead of shining a light straight down the cave so people could see where they're going, he was like, oh, what's this? Which, on one side, you can see how that could be helpful, because if you're exploring a cave you've never been in and you don't know what there could be, you know, strange animals, and let's face it, um they were filming in Australia, so strange animals. Um or if they were on Mars, in theory, in theory, there could be aliens. Um so yeah, it's so his looking other places wasn't a bad thing, but there's two of you. If someone else is not doing the job, your going off course isn't helping. That's why there's two of you. One to shine a light straight ahead, and the other one to look to make sure that there isn't any danger outside of it. So yeah, that was a bit of a. So Lance was saying that, and Adam was even giving as a reason for being him staying around, is that he's fabulous, and how he ran fast. And I would add, more importantly, that he helped Natasha. Both him and Lance helped Natasha get to the rover. So that is definitely worth something. So at the end, Natasha and Tom went home. Like I said, during all the times I've seen her on the show, it never occurred to me how much shorter she is than everybody else. Maybe because Ariel is there? I don't know. It just didn't hit me until I saw her walking with Tom when and sending off the flares. Then you really saw how tiny she is. But like I said, Natasha said that she changed her mind. But too late. So everyone says their goodbyes, because at this point they really like everybody. This isn't a matter of getting rid of someone because you don't like them. This is just who you think you need more. And Ariel was patting herself on the back that said, see, I'm not a bitch, because I chose to save Lance even though we don't get along. And I'm just like, really? You want a cookie for that one? Because you're not a bitch? Okay. So anyway, everybody is celebrating. They're getting ready for downtime, possibly going to bed. And there's another alert, and everybody's like, you've got to be kidding me. What the hell now? Apparently, there's a resupply mission. And 4 new crew members. I thought the resupply mission was going to be, more food, which is what they need right now. They do not need 4 more people. That is why they had the double elimination, because they couldn't feed everybody. So either A, this resupply mission has food and people, or the people are aliens. I should say aliens, or they're robots. Just, to help out at the hab or something. Because that would, if they're putting 4 people back into the simulation, that would mean that They don't care that there's not enough food, even though they said that that was the reason. So, if they actually do 4 people, I wonder if it's the 4 people. We've had 5 eliminations. So, if 4 of them were to come back, and it's a matter then of if it would be Richard or Natasha. But I doubt it would be Natasha, even though she seemed to regret her decision immediately. But 4 of those 5, I guess it's possible that they might have, may have changed of heart and want to come back and try again. And of course, um, Tallulah, Tom, and Chris. Which I realize now that they did Chris dirty. Because in the first episode, the the Martian dust was getting into their suits. Which, hello, how do you keep oxygen in there if the helmets are that flimsy? I think they wanted Chris to be the first one out because he has asthma. So either they did that to get Chris out, or they were not paying attention when they created these suits to begin with. Because ever since then, no dust into their suits. So the mission for next time is to get the 4 new crew members back to the Hab. So, like I said, I really wonder if they're going to be 4 new people, 4 of the previous people that were sent off, or if it's going to be robots or aliens or what have you. Because again, the reason for these extractions is to ensure that there's enough food. So, yeah, this is a very bizarre one. But anyway, I think I've covered everything from this episode. So with that, I will see you guys in the next video.